Hi, everybody. Welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. I wanted to talk about what seems to be the largest rocket attack so far since the war began. And I'll show it to you because it's still on the website sveadom.co.il. It's kind of like a red alert system. And I've been keeping my eye on the rocket attacks since this started. And if you want, I'll put the link for it's in the description below. But for those of you that are watching this live, I'll put it in the chat. You can go to this website. They send you like there'll be alerts like whenever there's a rocket attack in case you like to follow things that closely. I do. And there was a big one today. So let's just give it a couple minutes for some people to join. We're at 42 right now. Let's see. We got Carrie Cottrell. Sorry. Carrie Cottrell. Hi. Hi, Carrie. Carrie Goodman. 2 Carries. Wow, actually early to a live chat from Irvine, California. And then back to the other Carrie. I'm watching from Idaho Falls, Idaho. And then back to the other Carrie. Cool. Have family in Meridian, Eagle, near Boise, and Kuna. Jay Clark, hi in Arizona. Hello. That's where I used to live before moving to Kansas. Carrie Goodman, love Arizona. Plaid, funny. I have family in Irvine, California, Meridian, Idaho, and friends in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and in Arizona. Small world. All right. Byron Stivell, hello from Bella Vista, Arkansas. That's closer to my neck of the woods. I think at some point, I don't know when, but at some point I'm going to try and go to the, what's the name of that temple again? I already forgot it. The Bentonville, Arkansas temple. Is that right? All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit since we're starting to go here. Phil and Malia Waits, hello from Duncan, Arizona. Kathy, hello from Nova Scotia. I wonder if you're my first Nova Scotian that I know of that's commented or been in the chat. Chloe, hi. Ashley from Missouri, also my neck of the woods. I was just there a couple weeks ago. El Paculi, Idaho in the house. Thanks, Jared, for the news updates. I hope they're valuable. Of course, like these are things that you can look up yourself, but if it gives you any value, kind of me consolidating things and information and my non-expert analysis, then I'm glad that you enjoy it. Liz H, hi from Utah. Grimace, Utah County here. September Menzia, what are we meeting about? Wisconsin. Well, at least to start off, we're going to be talking about this rocket attack. I just wanted to show this to you. Put in the chat, put an R for rocket if you watch for these alerts, or if if you keep on top of like the rocket attacks. I'd like to know how many people do. And then just put a N for no if you don't follow them. Because I'd be interested to see if this is of any value, what I'm about to show you. Joyous is here. Am I being censored? The answer is no. Esther Nielsen Barker, hi from Bountiful, Utah. Sharon Criswell from Tualatin, Oregon. Plaid. There was a smoke/fog event in LA. I'm assuming you mean Los Angeles, but that could be Louisiana. That caused a really bad accident with multiple deaths yesterday. Oh, I saw that. Wasn't that the one that there was like a 55 car pileup or something like that? Vic William, hi from Merritt, British Columbia. Plaid, wondered what Jared would say about it. Well, I have nothing to say about the accident, but D. Ward, Spokane, Washington. Joyous S, which was not one of the options. Carrie Cottrell N in Janet B, Las Vegas. R. Okay, so there's one R from M. James. Let me see how many people are in the chat right now or watching. 90. Okay, we're getting pretty close. I don't want to show it until maybe we get a few more. I have a feeling that a few more are going to join. Plaid N, accept your reports and updates. Byron Stivell, everything the rocket attacks could be stars falling from heaven in Israel area. I'm open to anything. Yeah, maybe. When you see some of those videos, it does look like stars are falling. I wouldn't be surprised. You know me. Well, hopefully you guys know me. When it comes to prophecy, I'm very flexible as to what may fulfill prophecy because we'll know it when it happens, or or probably sometime after the fact. Someone will look back, someone in authority, the prophet, Christ himself. They'll say, "Oh, that was the prophecy being fulfilled." So sure, yeah, maybe it's the rockets. Marina Swap in Arkansas. Man, we have a lot of Midwesterners here today. Betty Horn, hello. Betty Horn's from Florida. Mick Van Natter, hi Jared, great job. Carrie Goodman, in, but love your updates, thank you. Sharon Criswell, to all attend. Oh, to all attend. To all attend. That's, if you missed it, that's in Oregon. First time cut you live, so please. I may do more live streams, I don't know. I just felt like doing it today, so. Okay, we're at 99, so why don't we go ahead and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me switch to this right here. I'll have the webcam up. Nope, don't want to move that. Move that like that. Okay. So, no, didn't want to. Okay, so this website, sfeaadom.co.il, it shows you, it's basically for, current rocket alerts or rocket attacks, so you can like take action if you're in Israel. And all they have on here is the last 24 hours. I wish that I had access to their entire database, but I don't know if they like save that information or not, or if it gets deleted after 24 hours. But so here you see, the last rocket attack was 2 hours ago. And it was just like this one place, Nativ HaAsrara. And you can pull up the map here and you can see where it is. So this was just like barely north of Gaza. Okay. And up until today, the largest attack that I had seen, like you see how like, let me show you an example. Well, let's skip through. Okay. You see like these right here. So this was 9 hours ago and it affected all these different cities right here. In fact, let me pull it up on the map so you can kind of see it. So, that was a pretty sizable rocket attack. You have rockets up here in Tel Aviv, south of Tel Aviv, and then down here near Beersheba. Okay. And so for me to kind of like estimate how big rocket attacks are, I've been essentially counting the lines right here. So for this attack that we just looked at, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like you have 9 lines of cities and areas. And so that's like been my only way to kind of like measure how big rocket attacks are compared to other rocket attacks. So the largest one that I had seen up until today was 15, like a 15 line rocket attack. Okay. And you can see there's some, there were a couple bigger ones, one right after another right here. And then you go back and it's mostly just kind of 1 and 2 lines aside from that. Here's one that's a 4 line, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, I've been doing this thing where, it's kind of cute. It's a little bit dark. I don't mean to make light of the rocket attacks, but, I decided to get, cause they have like an extension for your browser so that, it'll give you alerts no matter what website you're on. And it has like a little sound that goes off. And my autistic son instantly took to that. And it's been like a little thing where he'll like run in the room and I'll be like, oh no, it's a rocket attack. And then we'll like look at the map and see how many and stuff like that. Again, not trying to make light of the situation. It's not a game, but it has been a cute little way for me to kind of bond with my son in this way. So we've been keeping track of it for a few days now. And let me show you the one that happened today. It's this one right here. Okay. How many lines do you think that this is? Let me show it to you really quick. So look at the left side of the screen. You know, here's all the different areas, towns, areas, cities that were under attack. Let's do a little thing. How many lines do you think is right here? Just put your best guess in the chat. While you're doing that, and then I'll give you the correct answer. And remember, the most that I had seen to this point was 15. Cheryl Skews, rockets. Okay, so she's one that watches for the rocket attacks. Plaid, feeling censored. I'm finding some words get you in trouble. Example, you cannot use the word Zion in a comment, or it is removed by the scrubbed by YouTube. Not even pure in heart. Yeah, I guess it depends on. I don't know about the chat. Well, what does it do? It's been a while, but I think that in the chat it'll like hold individual comments, and then I have to okay it. And then with like the comments section on regular videos, there's like this part of the YouTube studio where I have to like go in and manually approve certain things, and sometimes I don't know what triggers them to flag it because it's like a completely appropriate comment. And then people think that I delete comments or stuff like that, and I don't. I do block people, like people that are passive aggressive, rude, they get personal, they belligerent, stuff like that. But I don't delete individual comments. Let's see. Melodolin, afternoon from Colorado. Cheryl Skews. Well, all the updates, please. Well, this is kind of all I have right now, but I'm going to get on Twitter and see what is going on right now and share that with you. There's another channel called I would recommend this channel. It's called Agenda Free TV, and the guy's name is Steve Lookner, and basically all he does is just live streams, and he just surfs mostly Twitter or X, and just kind of keeps an eye on it as like the news comes in. Let's see. Lisa Hill, hi from Saratoga Springs. Christian Fire Poppy is here. Make sure to check out her channel. She says, hey, Jared. Plaid. Also can't put family search or family search without it being removed by YouTube, even when posting a comment on Family Search's own YouTube channel. That's weird. I know one thing that usually gets you in trouble is like if you post websites, like links. And I don't know, maybe if it's like a known website like Family Search, maybe YouTube recognizes it as a website and it's like, oh, nope, spam. So I don't know. Okay, so we have a bunch of different guesses here. 40, 22, 46, 50, 66, 30, 52, 57, 61. Well, it wasn't as high as some of those, but it was 32. It was a 32, what I'm calling a 32 line attack. And again, the largest that I had seen to date until today was 15. So it was a little bit more than double, the largest that I had seen. Now, I wanted to know if anyone else was saying anything about this attack. And it turns out that yes. The first thing that I pulled up, I didn't want to stay on the website because it's an Iranian website, but you have the Islamic Republic News Agency, or IRNA, and they claim that it was the largest rocket attack. Tel Aviv hit by largest rocket attack since Al-Aqsa storm. Remember, that's the name of the operation that Hamas launched. Al-Aqsa storm. It's also been called Al-Aqsa flood. A pretty obvious call out for anyone that wants to destroy Israel and make the Temple Mount the central point. Oh, actually, before I read this, let me pull up the map so you can see what it looked like. So here it is, and it's in it's what I used for the thumbnail for this video. You see just like a billion place markers, all these different areas being hit by or at least under warning for rockets in those areas. And it goes as far south, it looks like, as Ashkelon, and then up to north of Tel Aviv, up to Ga'ash Beach, or B'nai Zion, about right there. Let me know if you've been to Israel in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after the live stream. So it was a pretty heavy attack. There was one pretty early on. I think it was like maybe within a week after the war started, where on this same website there was like a bunch of like alerts up in this area along the border with Lebanon, but it turned out to be some kind of like false alert. Some people were saying that maybe it was like a cyber attack, or that it was like drones, and like there was like a drone maybe that was flying through these different areas and setting off the alarms. I haven't seen any conclusion as to what caused that. That one was pretty dramatic, but it was a false alarm. But this one was not a false alarm. This is actually the real deal. So back to the screenshot that I took of this Iranian website, and then I'll show you what Fox News says. So, okay. The Israeli media... Wait, no. The Zionist regime's... so weird saying that. The Zionist regime's Channel 12 television reported on Tuesday that the rocket attack launched by Palestinian resistance forces towards Tel Aviv has been the largest of its kind by the Al-Qassam brigades, the military wing of Hamas, since October 7th, when the current war began. Sources said a mass explosion rocked Tel Aviv, where several rockets directly hit the city. Following the rocket attack on Tel Aviv, warning sirens were activated across a wide range of occupied territories, from areas surrounding Gaza to the northern regions of occupied Palestine. So that's what they said. They said that they got their information as far as it being the largest rocket attack from Channel 12. And I searched for that, but I couldn't, if they said it, then it must not be on their website. So maybe it was actually on TV that they said it, if that's true. But, I never feel too good trusting questionable sources like this. Not to say that they can't report truth, but I mean, come on, this is the Islamic Republic News Agency, so take it with a grain of salt. But Fox News says Hamas launches massive rocket barrage as Israel delays invasion. Reports say it may be the largest rocket barrage since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. And I don't really have anything that I care to read in here per se. I just wanted to pull this up to show that there was another news outlet that seems to confirm that it was in fact the largest. And that happened today, October 24th. Let me go back to this right here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Karate says, I have your missile alert app, but nothing comes up. Settings? You'll just have to play around with it. It may depend on your device. It may depend on your browser. I just have it on my desktop. Mine is a Hewlett-Packard computer, and I have Google Chrome as my browser, and it works fine. So you can either go directly to the website. Like I said, there's also an extension that you can go to for your browser. In fact, okay, fine, Karate, fine. So you come here, and if you go, if you're on your browser on your desktop or laptop, I don't know, maybe on your tablet too, I don't know. Down here where it says additional services. So it has PayPal but right here, but that's just for like donations. It's a free service. But if you want to donate, you can. If you go to additional services down here, it'll show you all the different places that you can get it, including, looks like maybe it's just a Google Chrome extension. So you can get this Google Chrome extension, and that works just fine. Otherwise, when you're on here, whenever there's a current attack, it'll pop up on this map that you're seeing right here. But it only lasts for like just a few minutes as it's taking place. And then once the alert is done, then it disappears. But you can look, you can look at previous attacks within the last 24 hours in this window right here, this scroll panel. You just click on it, and then it should pull it up. When I first started using this, You'll notice that it has the four different languages up here: Hebrew, Spanish. Well, I guess there's 5: Hebrew, Spanish, Arabic, Russian, and then English. For some reason, like the first day or two, whenever I clicked on these, it would not pull this up in English, but it did in Hebrew. So if you're having that issue, you might try one of these different languages if you want to see this map for any given area. But yeah, you can also follow these guys. This website has an account on X, and they post the rocket attacks on X as well. So you can do that. Kathleen Erickson, are the leaders trying to find a resolution to this violent war? Have they officially declared war? Yes, they have. I did a video about that. This is actually the first time since the Yom Kippur War in 1973, so exactly 50 years, that Israel has officially and formally declared war through the Knesset. They've had other conflicts that they called wars, like the Second Lebanon War and stuff like that. But I guess with those wars, they didn't officially declare war. But with this one, they did. They declared war on Hamas. And yeah, they're trying to figure this out. One thing that's complicating things, from my understanding, is that you have around 200 hostages that Hamas is still holding, and they've kind of been like releasing them little by little. Some people think it's because they're trying to delay the ground invasion, maybe allow time for their allies to make moves. I don't know. That's just kind of like the sense that I get. Like I've said before, and it seems like this is the same opinion as everybody else, everyone else that I follow, whether it's official news or whether it's a news outlets or these different accounts. It seems like everyone thinks that the ground invasion is going to be, that thing that takes it to the next level, that makes everything escalate. And so there's a lot of like everyone trying to figure out what to do right now before the ground invasion takes place. And part of that is having these hostages released. And another part of it is watching Hezbollah in Lebanon, because that would be a second front in this war. And there's already been back and forth between Hezbollah. And actually, I saw today that there was the first rocket since the war started that's come from Syrian territory. So now that's happening. And then you have different militias throughout the Middle East that are activating. I've seen some in Iraq. In fact, I'm going to read it to you right now. I'm not going to show it. I'm going to be on X, so I can never know if like some video is going to come up that I can't show. But this is another thing I wanted to share if you haven't seen this yet. So, okay, it's right here. And I've seen a few different people verify it, so I think this is real. So this letter was put out. It says, this is from Tammuz Intel account. Alwiya al-Wa'ad al-Haq posted a statement threatening to target U.S. bases in Kuwait and United Arab Emirates as a revenge for the Israeli crimes in Gaza, per their statement. It's good to mention that this faction claimed responsibilities for previous attacks on Saudi Arabia and the UAE last year. So, and there already have, I don't know if you've seen, but there already have been attacks on some U.S. bases. My understanding is that there's been at least, I want to say for sure, UAV attacks and possibly rockets. I'm not sure. Okay. Sleeping with cats. Sad state we are in. It is. But it's supposed to happen. It's prophecy. Especially if this is the final war. Plaid. Not been to Israel. Hope to someday. Had one of my children attend BYU Jerusalem Center, and a friend who's from Israel whose family all still live there. I pray daily for the peace of Jerusalem now. You know, this is one interesting thing. Like, we do want peace, but like a lot of times, like for example, on TikTok, whenever I post something on TikTok, it has a much, much wider audience. It's not like YouTube. And so like a lot of times, like you'll get criticism from other people where they'll be like, oh, what you want, World War III to happen just so your prophecy gets fulfilled. And, they basically like shame you for wanting, it's not that anybody wants suffering and nobody wants war. But what I found was interesting is as we were reading Doctrines of Salvation, there were many members of the church that were wondering if World War II was the final war. And Joseph Fielding Smith said that he hopes so, because that means that the second coming is going to happen and is going to usher in 1,000 years of peace. So I think it's okay to hope that the second coming is near, while not rejoicing in suffering, because there has been a lot of suffering. But anyway, Creative Gene, dang, I was supposed to go to Israel in January, flying into Tel Aviv. Ooh. I was hoping that this was the 45-day abomination in Daniel. 1,335 days would be November 21st. Karate, phone, ... But thanks heaps. Oh yeah, I can't speak to like if you're trying to get it to work on your phone. Sherry Johnson, hi. Sorry, joining late. Well, I hope so, Try and be on time next time, Sherry. I'm just kidding. First we have Sherry, and now we have Sherry. We're having a bunch of doubles today. Sherry Cox. I have always wanted to go to the Holy Land, but I'll wait till the millennium. Yeah, I think I will too. As I've talked to these guys from Israel 365, I was talking to Ellie Michelle, and he was like, you know what? We need to find a way to get you to come visit Israel. Because they work with like all different groups and anyone that is potentially an ally to Israel. It's a company that essentially promotes strengthening ties between Christianity and Judaism and supporting Israel. And so that's how I got in contact with them. I did a video that took off, and it brought a lot of traffic to their website, and then they reached out to me. And ever since that time, we've had all sorts of like interviews with each other. And anyway, one of those interviews was like, we need to find a way to get you to Israel. And I was like, that'd be cool. I don't personally have money right now to do that, but if you can like but if they offered it to me right now, I'm not sure now is the right time to go. I hope that he's safe. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago. Haven't heard from Rabbi Gerfine for like a week or two. I'm sure he's fine, but hopefully I'll be able to talk to him soon. And we can hear how he's experienced the war. He lives in West Jerusalem. Twin Angels, hour away from my hotel in Kansas City. The Boys is beautiful and green. The Boys. I'm assuming that that's a typo. Hour away from hotel. Kansas City is so nice, you guys. It's a beautiful city. It's very hilly. There's a lot of trees, and it's almost like when you're driving through, you don't really know you're in a large city like Phoenix, or when you're in Phoenix or Vegas or Salt Lake, you can see the rest of the city, but Kansas City is pretty obscured by trees. It's really neat. Marie Wheeler, listening from the Painted Desert, northern Arizona. Prayers for Israel. I miss Arizona. Brandon Porter, good to be here again, Jared. I only am aware of the rocket attacks because of this channel. I'm curious if this is the final war and who will be involved. I served in Russia and hope we don't fight them. Well, in a way, we kind of already are as we support Ukraine. It's been a while since I've really looked into the nitty gritty of the war with Ukraine, but I know that a big thing last year was the U.S. providing Patriot missile systems to Ukraine, which really hindered Russian efforts. So in a way, we already are. And like I've said, I think there's asymmetric warfare going on, including color revolutions, which is what I believe Ukraine is all about. The West, I believe, tried to change Ukraine via the color revolution strategy, and Russia doesn't want that. So It's more complicated than that, I think. But Jenny Van Dyke, it keeps buffering on me. I'm sorry about that. I don't have any way to do that. It may be, I don't know if it's my internet. I don't know if it's your guys's. The Haystack, Book of Mormon teaches that invasion invites destruction. But I think it will lead to what we have been studying our whole lives. Well, I'd say this. I don't think that we can afford to ignore it. If you're awake and you're watching the signs of the times and you take the second coming seriously, I don't think that we can afford to ignore it. Even if you don't think it's going to be the final war, you know, there's war taking place where we know there is going to be a final war. Now, I don't know. Maybe this will be a war that leads to another war, but I don't think so. The way that it's been going, the unusual characteristics of this war compared to other conflicts, and all the things that are happening throughout the world. There's been a lot of troop movements within Iran. Like I said, there's all these different like militias and terrorist groups activating and mobilizing throughout the Middle East. There have been attacks from Yemen, like missile attacks, and I think it's just the USS Carney that's taking out those missiles from Yemen. But anyway, the potential for escalation is just like through the roof. It seems like the U.S. is really concerned just because of how much firepower and troops and equipment they're moving into the region. Plaid, can I apologize if any of my comments were misleading about BYU Jerusalem Center updates? They updated, clarifying on current semester, and sounds like some things were misunderstood / misinterpreted on social media. Okay, sorry, I don't know what you're referring to exactly, but Larry Starks, Jared, I enjoy all your work and insight. I now live in Oklahoma City, born and raised in Anthony. Yeah, that is great. The only time I've been to Oklahoma City is just for to go to the temple. Except for one time we went kind of near there when we went to go get a calf. It was a Angus Holstein bull calf, bottle calf. Carrie Cottrell, as these events are happening, let's not forget to continue to attend the temple and make and keep covenants. Yes. I would take a look at your temple recommend, make sure that it's not about to expire. Mine is in December, so I was actually just talking about that today. Okay, really quick, I'm going to take a break from the chat. I'm just going to see what's going on X right now. Iranian ambassador to Iraq and the Iranian deputy chairman of the National Security and Foreign Policy Committee, Ibrahim Azizi, arrived at Baghdad International Airport, visiting the kebab of Qasim Soleimani. I have seen a lot of communication between Iran and all these different countries. It really seems like they're ramping up for further escalation. According to instant news alerts, 24 American military personnel were wounded last week in a series of drone attacks. That's what we were talking about earlier, at American bases in Iraq and Syria. U.S. Central Command told NBC News on Tuesday. Oh, and what do you know? Rocket attack. Let me... sorry, give me just a second. I'll go to desktop. All right, so near Yitzhak. I'll bet Yitzhak is Hebrew for Isaac. Let me know if you know for sure. Let's wait and see if there's any other rockets that come through, or if this is just like a small rocket attack. Oh, it's already been taken off the map. See, they only pop up for just like a minute or two, and then the alert goes off. So, all right, well, that was the most recent rocket attack. According to this, it's saying Sufa is the area. I don't know. I don't see a SUFA on here. All right, go back to this. So anyway, I wonder if I can get, let's see, military, okay, U.S. military bases in Middle East. American Security Project. Let me see if I can find something. Okay. Let me switch it over. Okay, so here is a map. I'm going to assume that it's accurate. You know, if someone puts this much time into putting something like this together, it probably is accurate. But here's Al Assad Air Base. I've heard of that recently. Balad Air Base. Unspecified number of U.S. troops performing advise, train, and assist role for Iraq Air Force. What about Al Assad Air Base? Task Force Lion, aka Task Force Al Assad, operates out of Al Assad Air Base in Iraq's western Anbar province. Task Force Lion advises, assists, and enables, quote unquote, the Iraqi military. Has elements out of 4 of the armed services. Has elements of 4 of the armed services. Colloquially known as Camp Cupcake during the Iraq War. In Baghdad, forward operating base Union 3, U.S. troop basing area for the Baghdad Green Zone. Here we are in Kuwait. We actually had one of you guys that said that they were stationed here. I don't know if they're still there or not. Camp Buring. Al Salem Air Base. Yeah, so anyway, I'm not going to go through all these, but yeah, you can see that there are a bunch of there is a lot of U.S. presence in the Middle East. Here's one in Jordan. Muwafaq Salti Air Base. And then, well, sorry, I want to look at one more. Let's look at Syria. Looks like according to this map, maybe just this one right here, Al-Tanf, has served as an important base in the anti-ISIS mission. Estimated that around 150 special operations soldiers remain here in coordination with local militia forces. All right. All right. So anyway, let's read that again. 24 American military personnel were wounded last week in a series of drone attacks at American bases in Iraq and Syria. U.S. Central Command told NBC News on Tuesday. I'll repost all the ones that I read. I'll repost in case you follow me on X. If you want to read that again. Oh yeah, I saw this earlier today. This is from the account called The Spectator Index. Breaking. Pentagon says a squadron of U.S. F-16 fighter jets has arrived in the Middle East without specifying where in the region. Now, I don't think that there's really any threat of nuclear war, like the U.S. using nuclear bombs, but it's well known that F-16s are capable of you can mount. There's a couple different nuclear bombs that you can mount onto F-16s, And that's been an issue with Russia and Ukraine, because there have been different nations talking about sending F-16s to Ukraine, and Russia has threatened that they'll view it as a nuclear escalation because F-16s have that capability. I think there's like 2 different bombs that can be outfitted on an F-16, like nuclear bombs. Apex account says, no question Iran behind many of the recent attacks on U.S. forces across the Middle East. The Pentagon's deputy spokeswoman says. I'll tell you this. The last I checked, and it was just a little bit earlier today, there was like someone, I can't remember who, but they said that there haven't been any military casualties. There was a contractor, like a military contractor, that died of a heart attack as there was like a attack on one of these bases, but there haven't been any casualties as a result of the attack itself, or these attacks themselves. I'm seeing some of there's still like videos from the 7th of October attack, and that are floating around. New ones coming to light, and it is really bad. Use caution if you're on X, or if you want to get on X, because there are things that you cannot see. You cannot unsee once you see them. I think I mentioned this in a recent video, but there's been, let's see, B-1 bombers deployed. Let me see if I can find an article. Yeah. It's from a week ago. It's from Air and Space Forces magazine, but I've seen it other places. B-1s, which is like it's like a long range bomber, deployed to United Kingdom for long planned bomber task force. Oh, that was already happening? Because what I read made it seem as though this is happening because B-1s would be able to reach Iran and other parts of the Middle East. I can't find any other articles about that, though. Okay, let me come back to the chat. Sleeping with cats. Do you think we will all perish from World War III? No, I don't. The righteous, in large part, are going to be spared. In fact, not just members of the church or people that are celestial, but also people that are terrestrial. So there's going to be a lot of people that die. But when it comes to those that move on into the millennium, if you're living at least a terrestrial lifestyle, you'll move on. Shiri Cox, does this war feel different from other previous conflicts in Israel? It does to me. Yeah, it definitely does. And it is. It is. Again, this war, on the first day of the war, October 7th, it was the deadliest day, the deadliest single day for Jews since the Holocaust. So the War of Independence, the 6-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, those are like the big 3. None of those have that claim. This war does. And this war really hasn't even started yet. And when I say that, I mean everything that happens once the ground invasion starts. Jay Clark, do we know if people are being killed in these rocket attacks? I don't know. I know that I've seen time and time again the rockets causing damage, but I haven't seen a whole lot where like someone actually dies from the rocket attacks. I'm sure maybe occasionally people do. Israel rocket attack casualties. Let me see if I can find something. Well, there's nothing that's popping up that's where it's like obvious that that's taking place. So I don't know. Well, there's a Wikipedia article called Palestinian Rocket Attacks on Israel. And it says from 2004 to 2014, these attacks have killed 27 Israeli civilians, 5 foreign nationals, 5 IDF soldiers, and at least 11 Palestinians, and injured more than 900 people, or 1,900 people. So for that 10-year time span, it seems like they occasionally kill people. There was the recent, what seems to be misfire. It seems like it's like coming out that the hospital that where there was an explosion, right away, you know, the Hamas and that side claimed that Israel had done an airstrike and hit a hospital and killed 500 people. It turns out that that was not true, or at least most people are now under the understanding that it wasn't Israel, that it was a failed rocket. So in that case, it seems like there were people that died, but it was on the Palestinian side because of a failed rocket. CO2MC number 26. I served my mission in Independence, Missouri. Oh, cool. I had to drive once to Kansas City for a zone conference. It was scary. I don't know. I don't know what it was like back then whenever you served. Driving through there just recently, it seemed like it was pretty okay. I don't know. Louisa Penton, Jared, hi from New Orleans. Oh, you might be. I think I recognize your picture. Louisa Penton. I don't know. First time I remember hearing somebody from New Orleans, though. I don't know if bad fog could be considered a sign of time, but yesterday there was one of the worst one that we ever experienced here, to the point that 150 cars were involved. Oh, okay. So the person that was saying this earlier, when they said LA, they were referring to Louisiana because Louisa is confirming it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wonder, let me see something. Fog, Louisiana. I'm trying to see if there's like anything here that says that it was like a record-breaking event. 7 dead after more than 150 vehicles crash. That is a really big pileup. That seems really big to me. I think that anything can be a sign of the times if that's the message that people get out of it. If it like wakes people up to the fact that, you know, that the second coming is happening soon, that they need to change their lives, that these are things that don't normally happen. So sure. I don't know. I didn't see anything about it being like record breaking, but it doesn't have to be record breaking to be a sign. I just wanted to see if it was. Christian Fire Poppy, tensions up the Black Sea. Yahoo News, UK Intel, Putin visit to China. October 18th, announced Russian fighter jets with KH-47M2 Kinzhal air-launched ballistic missiles would patrol Black Sea airspace. Yeah, I'd actually seen something about both of those things, both Putin visiting China and then something about the Black Sea. Plaid read a U.S. contractor died of a heart attack in a raid, and contractors are not included in military casualties. Many contractors there and many active duty are classified, so numbers unknown. Lisa Penton, 7 people died and there are about 30 people injured. Survivors said that the fog was so deceiving. It reminded me of the fog in the dream of in the Tree of Life dream. This was in the I-55. Colin Stewart, I feel like things will start ramping up even more around the next solar eclipse in April. Yeah, it could be. It seems like it's going to start ramping up pretty soon here, though. They keep delaying the ground invasion, but they keep also saying that it's. I haven't seen anything that said that it's not going to happen. So I feel like it's certain that the ground invasion is going to happen, and once it does, it seems like that's what Iran and Hezbollah and other groups are waiting for, so that they feel like they have justification to the rest of the world to attack Israel. Let me check something really quick. So even though the ground invasion or the ground war hasn't started yet, Gaza has been hit really hard with airstrikes. Really, really hard. There's a tweet that I saw, or I guess a post that I saw earlier today. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I reposted it. Yeah, I did. This is from Mario Nawfal. I don't know if this is true, but I don't doubt this account. He usually seems to have good information. He says, Israel bombed the Gaza Strip with more than 12,000 tons of explosives, equivalent to the power of the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. And he says that the source is the government media office in Gaza. So, well, okay, so it's coming from that. Who knows? That could be part of propaganda or exaggerating things. But what I will say is that from all the videos and pictures that I've seen of Gaza, it is pretty bad, like how much they've been hit. So, for example, I'll show you this picture right here. You've probably seen pictures like this. There's a wealth of photos and videos out there that show scenes like this in the Gaza Strip, where it does look like a nuclear bomb or something went off. I can't remember how many. Let's see. How many air strikes in Gaza? I'm not finding anything right off the bat. But it's been a lot. Carrie Cottrell. I wonder if this winter will be as bad as last winter was. Daniel Hershey, what do you think about the U.S. border situation? I mean, for me, that goes off into a whole different topic. When it I feel like you have to talk about secret combinations and their plans for the world, and there's a whole lot I could say about that. But again, I'm not a black and white thinker. I think that in a lot of ways it's bad and it's not good to break the law. You know, you should do things the legal way. I can understand why people want to come. But on the other hand, I know that the brethren have, even though that's wrong, I think that they've expressed interest in people coming here because basically because they have more opportunity here to come in contact with the gospel when they come to the United States. I don't know if that's true. I heard that somewhere. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna say that's true, but I did hear that from somewhere, and that could be true. I don't know. So there could be something good things that actually come of it, but they've also said, you know, like I remember like there was like this big thing in Utah a while ago This was like years ago, where the brethren were talking about this new bill that was going to be um, that was being discussed in the state legislature that had to do with immigration. Um, it was patterned after like these other bills, I think that passed in like Arizona and Texas and stuff. And the church expressed concern about splitting up families and using compassion, but it also counseled church members in these countries, whether it's Mexico, Central America, South America, that we obey the law, that we need to obey the law. So anyway, that's all I really have to say about that. WTEG. My wife's brother is serving on the USS Gerald R. Ford. Cool. I don't know if you guys know, but the USS Gerald R. Ford is it's like a newer aircraft carrier, and it's actually a new class of aircraft carriers that are Gerald R. Ford class, aircraft carriers. So it's like one of the newer ones. And that's the one that's off the coast of Israel right now. Sleeping with cats, it does feel different. The world feels different. Yeah. Even from just like earlier this year, but definitely if you go back a few years, a decade or two, it is definitely different. Louisa Penton, by the way, thanks for the hard work you do daily to keep learning or teaching us or helping us know the signs of the times that are happening in this falling world and to help us stay focused on the gospel. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Do what I can. This has been a really unique opportunity and experience for me, and it's really good. I don't know when it's going to end. Probably when the second coming happens, I'd imagine. I don't know. But I'm going to enjoy every second of it while I'm doing it. Cabria White, thank you for helping us get the unbiased info we need right now. You're the man, Jared. Thank you, Cabria. Cabria is from Arizona. We have mutual friendships. Jay Clark, thanks for answering my question. Whoop. CO2MC number 26. I'm just not used to driving in big cities. That's why it scared me. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. Goblin 2. I've never been a huge fan of like driving in downtown areas, like when you're in the metro area. I mean, that's how I grew up, is, driving around the metro area of Salt Lake. But like when you get into like large cities and their downtown areas where you start having all these like special little rules, like, one-way roads, or, a tunnel that goes this way, or like, weird things, like I usually feel uncomfortable in those situations, but I can understand that. Goblin 2004. I wonder if something will happen on or around November 21st. Yeah, we'll have to see. Thanksgiving will happen around then. Debbie Jones, all nations, quote unquote, made me think of the phrase, the gospel needs to go to all nations, etc. I read once that John used that 5 or 6 times, and it meant in general people of the world. Have you heard that? I've not heard that, but I feel like that's right. And in a recent video I read from Doctrines of Salvation by Joseph Fielding Smith, and in his opinion, and this was during World War II, he felt that the gospel had gone at large to the world. I can't remember how he worded it. I need to go back there and find that and add it to my spreadsheet. And I've heard a bunch of other general authority. I've done videos about this where they talk as though it's basically gone to the whole world. So I'm of the opinion we don't really have to wait for that. George Montgomery, Daystar has live cameras. I'd have to look into that. I'm not sure if I'd have to look into that. Sleeping with cats. I feel so bad for the cats. Sleeping with cats. You feel so bad for the cats? Dogs, the animals and birds in Gaza, not only the people. Yeah, I do too. poor animals that have no idea what's going on whatsoever. There's a lot of suffering that's going on. Janet B, this alert popped up on my phone today. Category 4 storm Hurricane Otis could be strongest in decades for Acapulco. That's in Mexico, of course. Life-threatening conditions likely. Well, that's crazy because Acapulco was recently hit by a hurricane. Why don't we switch over to Google Earth? Okay, Acapulco, that's down here. So this whole area recently got hit by Hurricane Lydia on the 10th of October. And it's on my map because this is one of those places that you see the crazy flash flooding. So there's been a lot of that recently in Mexico, and it looks like it's probably going to happen again. Because this is the other one on the 22nd of October. So it's like boom, boom, and then boom. We're about to have another boom down here. George Montgomery, 90% or of military age fighting, 90% or military age fighting young men, birth pains. 90% or military age men fighting young men. What do you mean by that? Oh, Daystar has life. I'm not sure what you mean. Thank you, Carrie Cottrell, for the $1.99. Not necessary, but I appreciate it. Oh, it's a super sticker. Celebrate the first super sticker from Carrie Cottrell. All right. What do I do? Click on this? Did that celebrate it for anybody? Do a heart? Oh no. What just happened? Go back. Oh no. Sorry. Give me just 1 second. Oh, there we go. Okay, got the chat back. Colin Stewart, the gospel is available for all nations as long as they have an internet connection. Yeah. And then all the other traditional ways. Again, I've covered the fact that you have people that immigrate from all countries to all other countries. There's people going around all over the place from different places. In fact, why not pull this up while we're talking about it? Countries. So I'll zoom in. This is a spreadsheet that I put together a while ago. Did a video about this where it's tracking all the countries that have and have not officially had a missionary presence. So the most recent one that I'm aware of is the Gambia last year. And I think it was Elder Christofferson that dedicated the Gambia for the preaching of the gospel. But then you have all these countries above this black line that do not have missionaries. I have them color-coded according to, if they have a temple. So, for example, in the case of China, I have them green because they have a temple. They have meeting houses, one district, and 2 branches, according to what I looked up. You have Cuba, 2 meeting houses, 1 district, 1 branch. Which is kind of weird. I wonder how that works out, but whatever. So you have countries where we do have a presence, not just not like an official missionary proselyting presence. And then in addition to that, in column B right here, this is the total number of people that immigrated to the U.S. between 2011 to 2020 from each of these countries. So Afghanistan, 90,845 people have come to the United States from Afghanistan. And do you think that some of those refugees or immigrants, whatever the case may be. You think that some of them maybe have come across missionaries in the church? I'd be willing to bet that they have. Algeria was 17,000. Azerbaijan, 8,000. Bangladesh, which is a big Muslim country, 145,000. And this is just for the United States, and it's only for 2011 to 2020. So I think you'd be hard pressed to find any country where 100% of its citizens have not come across the gospel whatsoever. But you have to take into account everything that's happened since 2020 or before 2011. And then all the people from these different countries that go to other places, Europe, South America, any other place that we have missionaries. So I think that's something that we have to take into account. Ryan Skousen, in our last fast and testimony meeting, a sweet lady gave her testimony and talked about how your channel helps her. Oh my gosh, people are talking about me in fast and testimony meeting. Okay, that's good. About how your channel helps her and how she feels the spirit when she watches your channel. Wow, that's incredible. Well, that's an honor. Okay, that is great. Kathleen Erickson, where is the headquarters of Hamas? I think primarily in Gaza City itself. I don't know though. We could look that up. Hamas, Wikipedia. Let's just do a Wikipedia search. Yeah. According to Wikipedia, their headquarters is in Gaza City. And in case you didn't know, or if you... Okay, is that showing? Yeah, okay. In case you didn't know, or you haven't seen my video where I talked about it, ahead of this ground invasion, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, dropped leaflets all up here in the north part of the Gaza Strip, which is where Gaza City is right here, and some other cities and towns, telling everybody north of like this line about right here to head south and be on the south side of this line. And that if you don't, then you could potentially be viewed as a hostile. You're putting yourself in danger. And so I'd imagine that, they're focusing on the northern part of the Gaza Strip because that's where Gaza City is and Hamas headquarters. But that's how things are right now. I don't know if like later on in the war, they'll kind of like sweep through here. I don't know. But as of right now, if you're a civilian and you're north of this line, you're putting yourself in danger. Ryan Skousen, my husband nudged me since he knows I watch your channel too. Sorry, don't know why I'm logged in my husband's account. I appreciate that. I hope that I have a good impact on people. I do the best that I can. WTEG Goblin 2004, Thanksgiving happens. Well, yeah, that's what I said too. Around November 21st this year. Goblin 2004, I wonder if we will see more people being translated / the rapture next year after the eclipse next year. All we can do is just wait and see. It's unclear to me, and I'm pretty sure there's not an answer to this, how much time goes by between the time that you're quickened and caught up or raptured, between that time and when you come with Christ to the Jews and then to the world. Because maybe it happens the day of, maybe it happens a week before, maybe it happens a month before. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. If I had to guess, it would seem that it'd be like relatively close to when he comes to the Jews into the world. That's just kind of the way that it seems to read to me, but I don't think we have a concrete answer about that. Probably gonna wrap it up here in a minute because it's been about an hour. We're a little bit over an hour now. George Montgomery. Anyways, Joni Lamb and Marcus Lamb. Marcus was a big supporter of Israel. They do have live cameras there. I know God bless everybody. Coming across the southern border, my son is a federal investigator. Randomness not true about the internet in all countries. China and Russian and even Israel limit what websites come through. Well, that's true, but who knows? I mean, it's complicated because even if, like, say that the church website is blocked, you may come across some other website that mentions the church or talks about some of our beliefs. So who knows? WTEG, who's being translated? Everybody that moves on into the millennium. Everyone, if you're among the wicked, you're going to be destroyed at his coming. And then everybody else, if you're living a terrestrial lifestyle or a celestial lifestyle, you'll be changed in order to live in the new world. Greg Brown thought Turkey, Mount of Olives is beginning of Daniel 1,290 days, with other bookend Mount of Olives in Jerusalem. So war might begin in Turkey and in Jerusalem. Just a thought watching earlier. Yep, it could be. All I'm going to say is I think that it was significant that happened. It's not every day that you have Mount of Olives splitting in two. It's the first time I've ever seen that. Jay Clark, your advice for how to have peace and not fall prey to the spirit of fear over all these events. Oh, easy. Just I listen to the prophets. That's it. Because all of them talk in a very bright and hopeful way about the future. That doesn't mean that 100% of church membership is going to be safe or not experience trials or persecution or natural disasters or even war. But by and large, the Lord is going to keep his covenant people safe. And so I focus on that. I focus on myself, trying to be righteous, trying to refine myself, work on avoiding fights here in our household and keeping the Sabbath day holy, just doing what I need to do, going to the temple more. And I feel confident that as I try and do my best, that I'll be counted among the righteous and try and always live worthily of a temple recommend. I think that's our greatest assurance. And just know that the great and dreadful day, it's dreadful for the wicked, because if you're telestial, that's essentially the end of the world for you. But if you're terrestrial or celestial, we'll be moving into a really good time. A very, very happy time in Earth's history, probably the happiest time. And I look forward to that. So, and I don't worry about things that I can't control. I'm here in Kansas. Could get hit by a tornado, a derecho, some other unexpected thing, but I don't worry about those things until they actually happen. We have 72-hour kits and we have, some food storage, but just don't worry about things that I can't control and try and live righteously. Vic William, Nepal had their first missionaries arrive earlier this year. Really? Hold on. Let me consult my spreadsheet. Yeah, so on my spreadsheet. Now, I don't know. I can't remember the last time that I updated this. I'll have to look into that more. There's an article here from the 31st of August, 2017. Church leaders deliver first Book of Mormon in Nepali to Nepal. Church leaders recently surprised the church's only branch in Nepal with copies of the first Nepali translation of the Book of Mormon. Well, if you have that link, like a link to that story, send it my way. I'd be interested if now they have missionaries. Nancy D, the rapture is a Christian idea. Ours is like it, but not the same. Yeah, well, I mean, like the terminology, we would simply refer to it as being caught up to meet Christ in the clouds. They take it from the Greek translation. I know there's like the word harpazo. It's been a while since I've watched like other Christian denominations talking about the second coming, but like harpazo is like a word associated with being caught up. And then there's also like raptura, which means to like snatch up. So that's where you get rapture from. I will say this. I was trying to like figure out, are we literally going to be lifted up and caught up to meet Christ in the clouds? And everything that I've found suggests that yes. In fact, recent statements by general authorities, like, let me show you this really quick. So, for example, in the July 2022 edition of the Liahona, there's an article by Elder David A. Bednar, Temple Ordinances Preparing to Return to God's Presence. And he says, in his infinite and eternal mercy, the Lord, through his prophets and apostles, has continually invited his sons and his daughters to prepare for his coming and become a Zion people ready to be raised up to meet him. And then he leaves these different scriptures, which are the scriptures that have to do with being caught up, being quickened and caught up. In the October 2020 General Conference, Elder Neil L. Anderson, in a talk called We Talk of Christ, said, "Can you imagine being caught up to meet him, whether on this side or the other side of the veil? That is his promise to all the righteous. This amazing experience will mark our souls forever." And then there's another one that I wanted to... There's supposed to be another one from Elder Razband. Okay, also from Neil L. Anderson, Thy Kingdom Come, April 2015 General Conference. In that day he will not come wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger, but he will appear in the clouds of heaven, clothed with power and great glory, with all the holy angels. We will hear the voice of the archangel and the trump of God. The sun and the moon will be transformed, and stars will be hurled from their places. You and I, or those who follow us, the saints from every quarter of the earth, shall be quickened and caught up to meet him. And those who have died in righteousness, they too will be caught up to meet him in the midst of heaven. I have another one from Elder Rasband. I think I know where it's at. I need to add it to this spreadsheet, but he was talking to youth recently about that very fact. You know what? Let me just find it. Rasband. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this was January 9th, 2022, Young Adult English Area Devotional with Elder Razband. You can find this on YouTube. And you can go to these two time markers right here. Okay, he says, may Christ lift thee up, as it says at the close of the Book of Mormon, in that it will be a real experience in your life and will sustain you in your times of trouble. May you be guided by the things of your soul, that you will be prepared to join with the hosts of heaven when the Savior returns, that you will know him as the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the Prince of Peace. And the end of the Book of Mormon, the very last verse, it talks about being caught up to meet Christ at the second coming. And you can confirm that by looking at the footnotes, which we've done in a different video. Yeah, I need to add this to that other spreadsheet. Lisa Penton, Jared, you are a needed brave voice in this dreadful world. My son says that he also feels bad for all the animals in the middle of the war, with a frowny face. Yeah, it's sad. But thank you for that kind comment. Okay, well, I should probably cut it off here. Maybe I'll try and do some more live streams in the future, though. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. So, yeah, just a reminder, in case you joined late, it seems that we've had the largest rocket attack so far as part of this war. And if that changes, then I'll let you know. But that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you're watching this after the fact,